I started out as a forester, graduated from the University of Madison, and immediately got just totally disturbed about the timber industry from the landowner's point of view. We weren't paid enough. Logging was really bad, so I had to do something. I just can't stand to be in a system where I don't think things are not quite right. So what I do now is I'm working on my own land. I cut a few trees each year and make different products, and it's turned out really well. So we don't cut a tree unless it's dead. So this white oak had been killed by oak wilt, and we're going to process this, sell it directly to customers, and this tree may end up on different continents. Parts of the tree will go into a floor here, and parts of it will go into a cutting board there, a kitchen cabinet somewhere. All my other neighbors are using the big machines, and back home everybody's wondering how come there's no jobs. And in Wisconsin we've lost about 500,000 jobs in the timber industry because of mechanization. These big machines, 400 horsepower, this two-man crew, a harvester and a pre-hauler, put 50 people out of work. And then, it's a frustrating situation. So instead of going with the industrial logging, I just quit after a while. This is our farm. Back home today, the leaves are turning and starting to fall, and we're coming in the winter season. But it's a beautiful spot. We're on a dead-end road. If you imagine North America, I'd be right in the center of North America, between Chicago and Minneapolis. So we've learned a lot of things from other people. One of the best lessons I've had was from the Menominee Indians, the Menominee Native Americans. Sorry, we call them Indians, but now I've met the real thing. So we've learned the best forest management from the Native Americans who managed their land for thousands of years, and we've also learned from the Germans, the traditional Germans, and we've learned to really let the forest grow naturally. We always take the lesser tree, the worst tree first. So in this case, if we were to harvest, because these two are too close together, we take the smaller tree that's defective and let the good tree grow as long as it's healthy. As long as it's vigorous, we let our big trees just grow, and they regenerate. We let natural succession and natural regeneration, and we have a very beautiful and productive forest. So by letting the good trees grow, our farm has 4 times the growth of the regional average, and the quality is probably 4 times better too. So it was a dairy farm. We tried farming. Now we've got a good business, and it all started from a fungus called oak wilt. So these are 2 red oak trees that died. So they're mature. I got into the business salvaging, and almost every tree I cut is a dead tree. In theory, with our forest management, we could take 1 live tree per acre per year and always have a sustainable harvest. And we do that, again, by taking the worst tree first. So we've learned a lot from the Swedish. We use Swedish tools, Swedish methods. But I still go out and I cut 10, 20, 30 trees a year is all we've needed to supply. And when you're only taking 1 tree per acre per year, you got to get pretty good at directional felling. When it comes time to move the logs, we'll use the smallest equipment possible. This is an arch being pulled by a winch. And here's my big factory. We have a workshop in the barn, have a sawmill shed, and then 3 solar heated lumber kilns. We have a wood miser sawmill, and most of the logs are sawed on the wood miser. Very, very efficient. But sometimes the trees get so big that they won't fit on the sawmill, so we use chainsaw mills, and here we're making slabs. As a forest manager and a landowner, there's 2 things that we really had to deal with that make us more successful than any of our neighbors. First, 80% of the wood that you need to harvest in southern Wisconsin is small diameter, and everybody sends it to the paper mill or the firewood mill or just cuts it down. But we've learned to take trees that are 6, 7, 8 inches diameter and make high value products. So this is a cherry tree. It was just live sawed We'll run that through the kiln, and then once it's dry, we'll make all kinds of. This is a resaw from the pallet factory, just down the road. But instead of making pallet parts for the cheapest kind of wood, we make high value products. So here's birch and walnut from small logs that we saw. We dry, and in a little bit I'll show you the products. The other thing, the loggers went through our region several times, taking all the good straight trees. So we've got hundreds and hundreds of curved trees and bent trees and crooked trees and undesirable species. And as a forest owner, we had to learn to make money on that. So this tree was, commercially, who's going to saw that? Or, but we actually get more value in our process than if it was the best veneer log. One of the keys to our success, this is a solar heated lumber kiln that I designed, and these are being built all over the world. We stack the fresh lumber in these open rooms. They're stickers, so there's space between the boards, and we can get rid of 82% of the water, 92% of the water for free just by letting the wind blow through, and it air dries very quickly down to 12% moisture. But for our climate, we need to dry the wood to 6% to use for flooring or kitchen cabinets. So one room in each building, we close it off with doors, and all the heat from the solar collector goes into this one room, and it dries that lumber down to 6%. When the wood's dry here, the door just slides over. This one becomes the kiln. And when that's dry, the door slides over, and that becomes the kiln. And the biggest difference between a solar kiln and a normal kiln is fast. They're putting the power to it and drying it as fast as they can. And they over dry the surface of the wood just to get the water out of the center of the board. Where in this system, the boards all equalize every single night or any day it's rainy. And we started out, the first one, the electricity cost was a penny a board foot, which is pretty darn good. The new ones that are being built cost 1/10 of a penny per board foot is the electricity we use to circulate the air. And again, other people are building these, and each one we get better and better. So here's another one of these curved logs that was dead. It wasn't merchantable, but we sawed it, we dried it, now we're going to make it into flooring. And what I'm trying to do at home is use our dead trees and put people to work. So we have the smallest machinery possible. We want to have a lot of hands-on, so it's where the rest of the industry is trying to get bigger machines that replace people. We're going back in time to where we're putting people back to work. So in our old dairy barn, we've got a Swedish Lagersaw molder, and we actually make flooring, we make furniture, we make stairs, make a whole variety of things. When we make a floorboard, the tree's 130 years old in our area. We had to fell it, sawmill it, do all the hard, dangerous work, and we get up to $3 a board foot. Just by setting it on the floor in someone's house and putting a few more nails in it, we make another $3. And by sanding it and finishing it, we get another $3. So we're able to do so much more by actually taking the flooring that we make and installing it ourselves. And we use all the different species. Each floor is a little bit different, but over the year, I have to sell what my forest produces. And luckily, it's a beautiful mix. And when we get a family that, they always love it. It's always more beautiful than they think. And then this lady is now volunteer sales staff. And her house is a showroom, and the people just keep, showing off their house and selling more forest for us. And it's, unfortunately, in America, the recession at this point has the housing industry about 20% of what it used to be, and it's really affected us. But we're able to stay in business because we're the only supply of local wood and character wood. But so when we got into the flooring business, we got to a level where we could have one full-time employee for every 40 acres of timber. Now, no one else can say that in the world. It's by doing all the manufacturing there and doing the installing and direct marketing, we're able to employ people in a way that no one's ever, well, in recent history anyway, no one's been able to do. But we've added another feature. We've opened a retail store downtown in our little village, And what I call mega value products are things where we can make 2 to 5 to 10 times more than if we made it into flooring. So that big tree that we were slabbing, we made up into, you know, furniture for people. But in our store, we take our scrap wood and we can use the laser engraver and put somebody's name or put a, you know, a little saying on it or whatever, and we can get 3 or 4 times what that piece of wood would be if it was installed as a floor. So we've got a couple of artists that, you know, just sit there and create things, jewelry, these are just some of the products. And now, just in the last year, we started to ship stuff around the world, and our growth is exponential at this point. I hire really smart people. The third day Lynn was working, she says, let's take a snack board and make it like a painter's palette. We could have used these last night at the reception. Your wine glass can sit in here, and you can have your snack here, and it's just another idea where, it's nothing new, but to make it out of local wood and make it combined with a painter's palette is something that we're hopefully going to make some money on. We do kitchen cabinets, countertops, stairways, add customized wood vents in the floor. And it's just turned into a wonderful business, and again, our customers join in and help us to tell the story. This lady actually helped install the floor, so when we were working, she and her husband helped pick the boards, helped nail them down. And this is a little complicated, but all my neighbors sell their trees for either 20 cents or they don't get anything, maybe $5. And at the most in my area, for a really smart man with good trees, might get $60 a tree. And these other ones are very rare anymore, that you get a super tree that they talk about them, but very rarely does anybody get paid a fair price for any tree. But I'd rather work over here. I think as installed flooring, we can run a business where we can make $250 for a little tree, but we can make thousands of dollars per average tree. And it's almost all income. There's some costs involved, but okay.
Yes, thank you. We'll do questions at the end. Thank you very much.